Hi, I'm Klein, owner and designer of Trendsetter Yarns, and I'm here kind of in my studio, also my kitchen, working on some new yarns. One of them is a yarn called Improv. It's new for this season, and it's a really wide ribbon. So I'm going to show you how to knit with it, how to enjoy it, and I'm going to show you some finished samples of things you can do with it. But you got to get started. So to get started, you take your hank, rip off the label, and it has to be wound into a skein. To do that, simply open it up. It'll be a complete ring, and you're going to take it and either put it on a yarn swift like I have here. Just carefully open it up, put it on there nice and tight, or if you're sitting down, you can put it over your knees. Don't lay it flat, because if it gets into a mess, it'll take a long time to unwind. And the trick to it is to look for ties. There are ties all throughout the hank. Here's one of them right here. It's a little black tie. You're going to take it, snip it, go around the hank, look for the rest of them, snip them, and remove them. Then you go back to the very beginning, cut it, and you're ready to go. And the trick to this is you want to keep it really, really flat. So I use my label. I take my label and I just start winding around it. Wrap it around and around, taking it right off your wheel. So I'm going to continue winding this, come back in a second or two, and I'll have it all done and we'll continue from here. Well, I just finished winding the last part of the yarn, and now it's time to give you a sneak peek of some of the things that you can do. Before we get started, here's the yarn, and you're going to need a circular needle. A circular needle is like straights, except for there's a metal cord or a wire that runs between them. So we'll use this in just a minute. But here's a sneak peek of some of the things you can do with Improv. This is a wrap, so it's something to, again, wrap around your body. The Improv is used with doon, which is a brushed mohair, and it's used one row at a time, already folded. It can be used for purses, for handbags, for accessories, but most of all, what's really great about it is that it can be used for scarves. Scarves are just a really great accessory that you can carry with you, tuck in your purse, wrap around your neck, wear under a jacket, have with you all the time and truly enjoy. And with Improv, what's great about it is that it creates a colorway going in one direction, flip it over, and you get another colorway going in the opposite direction. It's a lot of fun to knit, and if you've seen one of our other videos on Cha-Cha, it's a similar kind of ribbon where you're going to knit along one edge, but in this case, we're going to flip it and knit the opposite. So grab your yarn and let's get started. I've been sitting here working away on my knitting. So you can see I've gained some ground, and I've done a lot of pillow knitting. To do the first row, you knit regular. You knit in the front of the row, take your yarn and wrap it over like you're going to knit, and pull one stitch through. I'm going to continue that all the way across one row. At the end of the row, if I turn it around and show you, what I've got is a ruffle. But if I don't want it ruffled, I want it pillowed. To create these little pillow rows, I have to knit this row a second time. So it's very simple. I finished the row, my yarn is here, I hold on to my knitting and I take my needle and I pull it. Just be careful not to pull it all the way out. I'm now back to the beginning of the same row. My yarn is at the wrong end, but I'm not using my yarn this time. I'm going to be using my stitches. I put my needle in as if to knit, and I'm taking the ribbon, the opposite edge of what I just knit, and I'm folding it up, grabbing the open box and coming straight through. One stitch to one open box, just like I did on the other side. So I'm in the stitch, picking up the open box, knitting it, and coming through. Into the stitch, carefully into the stitch, wrap it over, and come straight through. One to one, all the way across the row. And really all I'm doing is folding the ribbon and knitting the opposite side. And what that's going to do is create a closed box, or what we call a pillow, and it's a great effect. So I'm going to continue on working on this, and when we come back, I'll show you some other variations of doing the same technique. Welcome back. It's been a blast knitting this yarn, and I can't wait to see what other things I'm going to come up with. The ideas just keep rolling the more I play with it. What you can see here is about 20 different rows of Improv, all pillowed on one side. On the opposite side, we threw in a couple rows where it stayed ruffled. Completely up to you. Just have a blast knitting it. one of the other things you can do with it is what we call embellishing. So on this, embellishing, you can do it on straight knitting needles. So I've got my straights. You can also do it on circulars. I just really enjoy my straight needles. And I'm using another yarn called Dune. It's my base yarn. It's the yarn that was used in the wrap that I showed you a little bit earlier. I've done a couple of rows, and now to embellish it, because I'm going to use it only for one row, I'm going to take it, put my knitting needle in, you fold the ribbon in half, and you pick up both boxes and put it on the needle. So my needle is going through both thicknesses, and not using Improv, but using Dune. You take it and you come through with both, and it joins it together. So all I'm doing again is, looks like I'm fumbling, but I do know what I'm doing. You pick up the stitch, put your next stitch on the needle, take Improv, pop it on the needle as well, so you've got double the thickness on the needle. I'm taking my yarn and I'm purling it, going through both thicknesses. Picking up my next stitch on the needle, picking up Improv, and coming through both at one time. And what it's going to do is embellish it, or it sits one fiber right on top of the other. Just another great way to use it. So thanks for joining me. Come back and see us again. And if you'd like a free leaflet, go to our website, www.trendsetteryarns.com/knit improv. We've got a great leaflet that you can download there. And if you didn't write it down fast enough, we're going to print it on the screen for you. So have a great knitting day, and we'll see you again at Trendsetter Yarns.